What's up, Gruntworks Nation? What's up, VTT? It's the Big Earl here, CEO, founder of Veteran Trash Talk. We're going to talk about financial advising because I don't know anything about that, and neither do most of you. However, some of you have money, and are you doing the right thing? We're going to bring on Army veteran Ken Hewitt, a financial advisor with Series 7, lightsaber stuff. I don't know, but he's skilled, he's qualified, and he's going to tell you what you should do with your money. So make sure you click on the interested or going on the events tab on either the Gruntworks page or Veteran Trash Talk page. Enjoy the show.
Was that not another video to play, Chris? That was it?
Two-thirds of Americans are at risk to experience blackout. You could be one of them, sitting in the dark and cold for hours, for days, maybe even weeks. Are you ready to protect your family? You could be with Patriot Power Solar Generator 2000X. Folks say this new solar generator from 4 Patriots is worth its weight in gold. Why? Because this generator has double the capacity and is expandable so you can run the big appliances like your fridge even longer. Or other devices like an electric blanket, microwave, RV air conditioner, or even an electric wheelchair. You also get 12 outlets, including 4 AC outlets, so you can power more devices at once, and 2 USB-C outlets, which can charge your phone 20 times faster than a regular plug. Best of all, this new solar generator is fume-free, safe to use inside, and never needs gas, ever. Over 150,000 Americans trust Patriot Power generators. Go to 4patriots.com/VTTGW to get your solar generator now. You'll even get a solar panel included free.
Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? Video got over for it. I was down there goofing off. Whew. Hit my green screen. Let me get that fixed up for you real quick. Hope everybody's having a great night. Been super busy here today. It's been a crazy, wild day. Hope everybody else out there is having a good day. I'm going to give a shout out to my hometown of Warren, Missouri. They had a tornado outside of town last night. Followed up with my friends. Seemed like it did some hail damage and some other damage to cars and stuff, but everybody that I knew was okay. And so thoughts to prayers to everybody out there that's been affected by the storm or storms that are coming. It's springtime. It's very important to be prepared. That's why the 4 Patriots solar generator work out great, because if you lose power for a while, it'll run everything you need to run. And so keep that in mind. Be sure to use the QR code that's running down across the bottom to save you some money. But before I jump into the mental health warrior tonight, Lynn's out joyriding in her Jeep, if you watched the episode last week. So she couldn't make it on today because I'm thinking she's out joyriding in her new Jeep. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go with that. But hey, you see the QR code up there for Reach Across America Radio. Super happy to have them not only sponsor my podcast, but also to help them with ensuring that, the veterans out there that have gone on or the soldiers have passed on, that during the holiday season, they have that wreath put on their tombstone. And what a great program. And I'm so happy and to be a part of them and part of their family, along with the Veterans Trash Talk also. But hey, so along with that, Reads Across America Radio, they replay my podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. There's Reads Across America Radio hat. Super easy to find. Just download your favorite app, whether it's TuneIn app, whether it's iHeartRadio app, whether it's Odyssey app. Search for Reads Across America Radio, and then you find all the great programming, not even mine, but others. And this is their hat. So this is some of the merch you can get on their website. All of it helps benefits Reads Across America Radio and stuff, and the program that they do, and it's just amazing, and it's so very important. So if you watched last week's podcast, you know that my wife had gone to Washington D.C. and she brought back some 10th Mountain whiskey and spirits, and I was so happy about that because I've been able to get it out here. And so tonight, because I got allergies, and I need to help my allergies. I'm having a little of the cordial, so I'm having a little drink here to help with my allergies. So John, that's funny. It's gonna, it helps out a lot. So if your allergies are kicking in or something, I'm not a doctor. I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Joking. And so I've heard the 10th Mountain Cordial will help with anything that's ailing you at the moment. But it is Mental Health Awareness Month. I hope we all watching out for each other and watching out for everybody else. Lots of things are going on. It's a crazy time of the year. I had a very busy day today, actually. Lloyd had a school function today, so he did a concert. So he went and watched that, and then got home, and then I had to, prior to this going live on this podcast, I was taping for another podcast called Tactical Treasures. That episode will come out on their network on June 12th. And so I was super excited to help them. I'm always out there trying to help the community in any way that I can. And just the same that I'm here for you and everybody. But this week on the Mental Health Minutes and the Mental Health, what did I change it to? Mental Health. Anyway, I had a brain fart. It'll come back to me. Anyway, I've been talking about ways to improve your mental health, and that's why you see this one little slide up on the screen. And for people listening to on the radio show on Fridays and Sundays, I'll explain to what it is. But it's just a lady with a plant growing out of her head with a light bulb, and there's some tips going around it, and I'm going to talk about those later on because I think it is important. I think with spring coming on and things changing, and just like I talked today in the recording for Technical Treasures, is it's important not to keep going down that same path. It's important to go down a different way, look at things differently, do things differently. And I talk about that all the time, right? And so you just need to do it. Tomorrow, Lloyd's school. Hey, Brian, how you doing tonight? Is going on a field trip to Mount Vesuvius. So I'm super excited about that because I have not hiked Mount Vesuvius. And so that's going to be lots of fun. My Italian classes are continuing. So Buonasera, everybody out there. Good evening. Hope you're doing fine. And so I've been practicing verbs this week. And today I went, of course, it's always an exciting trip. I should do a Facebook Live sometimes when I go to the grocery store here in Italy. It's quite funny, but I do make it through it. I got Google Translate, but I'm getting pretty good at, understanding a few words and stuff now. And so it'll slowly come to me, and eventually I'll get it. And then maybe I'll just do the whole podcast in Italian. No, I'm joking. But you know what? I'm going to say something about this though, real quick. Is yes, I've struggled with it, but I turned double nickel this year, and you're never too old to learn something new. And come hell or high water, I'm going to learn Italian, and I'm putting the work into it. But I say that to say this: me focusing every day, I get up in the morning because my brain works better in the morning. And after everybody leaves for school and work, I'm at the house by myself. I sit there, and that's the time that I practice my Italian. I go through the homework she gives me. I have to give her a recorded message every day. But I think your brain can get lazy, right? You always got to challenge your brain, just like you got to challenge your body working out and stuff. I'm finding the more that I do this repetitively, that things are starting to click. And she said eventually it'll click. I think it'll probably take me I'm assuming a good year, probably to be fluent in Italian, where I can go out and have a conversation with people. I'm hoping to get there. I'm hopeful. But I've noticed that my mental health, since learning this new language, I knew German a long time ago. I took German in college. German and Italian are completely two different languages. The structures are completely different. How you pronounce words are completely different. How you count is different. The Italian numbers are goofy. If you don't know them, they're goofy. 1 is una, 2 is due, 3 is tre, 4 is quattro, 5 is cinque, then sei is 6, then siete, and then otto, and then nove is 9, and dieci is 10, and then una dieci, due dieci, and it goes on up to 20, and then it gets all easier after that. So, it was hard to learn that. And in German, when you say a number, you say it differently. And so for 21 in German, for all those people out there know German, you say 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 1. You say 21 instead of Uno Venti, or you say Venti Una for 21. But anyway, I hope everybody's having fun. But I just think that learning that language and having my brain focus on something and do something differently has improved my mental health. I really believe that. And I think I've seen a change in me a little bit because of that. And I don't know if it's just because I have something to look forward to. It's something that I'm driven to do. It's something that I want to learn. I think that when you're in a different culture, it's important to learn that culture, to see what that culture is about. And I just want to absorb as much as I can here and try to learn as much as I can, because, when you stop learning, then you stop living, right? And, with the Mental Health Warrior podcast and with, when you have PTSD and TBI and everything, you can still learn new stuff. You can still go out and do things and enjoy life and continue to move forward. And, that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight podcast is, first of all, I was going to tease Lynn endlessly about posting pictures of her Jeep, and she's probably stuck somewhere, I imagine, in it. Or she's gotten so many ducks. She's been ducked so many times. She's stuck in her car right now and she can't get out of it because she got ducked so much. But, she's probably working. I'm just being silly. Yeah, I'm sure she's happy about getting her car. I would be too. But, in learning a new language and getting my mind, I'm bringing up the slide that we're going to talk about, is something that I think for me with my TBI injury and what I'm realizing about myself, right? It's always easy to stay down the familiar path. And yes, I could stay in Italy. Yes, I could not learn the language. And yes, I could still function. And yes, I could still go out and do things. But why do that? Why not try to learn something? And I remember I took my first 2 Italian classes they offered free here. And it's the same class. I took it over again. Took it once. I failed the test. Took it. There was no test, but I just had a hard time with it. And I took it a second time, and it was a little bit easier. It's just very general. It's kind of to help people. You just moved here from the States or wherever you came from, just to kind of introduce you to Italy and, going out and doing stuff and shopping. That's kind of what the class was about. And I took it the second time, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be determined to learn Italian. I'm really going to focus on doing that because it's something I always wanted to do, right? And so I talked to my neighbor, and she has an instructor that she uses, Alicia. And now I see her on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock or 9:30. She comes to my house, and we study for 2 hours. And then I have homework and other stuff I have to do. But it's interesting because in talking with her, she's had some mental health issues and other stuff. And so it's really nice that, she's helping me learn the language, but also I'm helping her through my stories and what I talk about, to even though she grew up differently and she lives here in Italy and they look at things differently here, to just to help her, know that, what she went through and what she was dealing with was normal. Everybody deals with crap. Even my friend Pepe, who I hang out with, he's about my age. When he tore his Achilles tendon and couldn't work, and he's home and depressed and stuff in Italy. I got, we talked about stuff, and I talked to him every day and asked him how he was doing and what's going on. And it's just important to know that, mental health issues or problems knows no bounds. It knows no race. It knows no, whether you're male or female, whether you're rich or poor, whatever your color of skin, it doesn't matter. It can affect anybody at any time. And so really what I wanted to talk about is just some general ways, and most of you guys know these already, to kind of help improve your mental health. And one good way you could help improve your mental health is have a little 10th Mountain Whiskey cordial every now and then, because, it helps me a lot. See, I'm smiling. I'm just joking. Not really. Sort of. Maybe. I don't know yet. So if you look at the slide there, and hey, Chris, can you get rid of me? People are tired of looking at me, and throw that slide up big. Have it the only one so they can kind of read it better. Can you do that? Thank you, sir. And so if you look at this chart, it's something we already know, right? And if you're listening on Region Cross America Radio on Friday, It's just a very simple chart, and it has some bubbles, and I'm going to talk about each bubble. And it's something that I've talked about on my mental health minutes. And so if you go back and look at my mental health minutes, or my mental health break now is what I'm calling it, mental health break, because I don't always need a minute to talk about something. So I thought, you know what? Let's just call it mental health break. And so you can just take a break from life, or take a break for a moment, and maybe something I say might help you improve your mental health, at that day. Just give you a break for a second. So if you look at the first dot, and I'm going to start at the upper left there, it says eat well. And this is very important because it's something that, if just think about your body as a car, right? If you put bad gas in your car, right? If you got water in it, if it's contaminated, it's just not going to run good. And it's going to have issues and problems. It's going to sputter. It's not going to get good gas mileage. You might clog up your fuel filter, and it may not die on you and just run. And so eating well for your both mental and physical being is very important. Now, what does that mean? As somebody who's worked out their whole entire life, I do intermittent fasting every single day. And if you want to learn about intermediate fasting, just Google intermediate fasting and see. And I'll fast anywhere between 16. If I start myself starting to get sick, I will fast for at least 20 hours. Because, after a certain amount of time, your body will start destroying those abnormal cells for energy. And so that's why I do a little bit longer fast. And for me personally, it kind of seems to help for me to get over with what I'm feeling. But, eating well is kind of hard, right? It can be tough if you're used to eating a lot of processed food. And so it's just important to kind of look at what you're eating and see if you can make some small changes to make it a little bit better. Maybe it's eating less carbs. Maybe it's having less snacks at night. I know the hardest thing for me when I drink at night, and I don't normally drink at night, especially if it's a sweet drink like the cordial, is I get hungry for salty snacks, right? And so I want chips, or I want something along those lines. And so what I've done is just, I don't have those things in my house. And so if I get hungry, or if I'm having like the cordial I'm having tonight, I just don't have the snack in my house. And so if it's not in the house, I'm not going to eat it. Because I do notice that if I drink and eat snacks, my weight will start creeping up. And so, it's very important. You don't necessarily have to eat well. Well, you do have to eat well, but you define what well is. It's different for everybody. Some people are okay with having carbs in their body. Some people's not. Some people can eat a lot of vegetables. Some people just can't eat vegetables because it affects their gut, and vice versa. So find out what eating well means to you, because it's different for everybody. And I think you'll start feeling better once you start doing that. And look at different ways and study different things about food, and how much you really need to eat or not eat, and those kinds of things. It's just going to make you feel better. The second one there is share your feelings. I kind of got a hard one with this one. And not the fact that I don't think it's important to share your feelings, but I don't think that you have to share your feelings in great detail with what you're feeling. Now, if something's bothering you, or if something's going on, sure, share it. I mean, let's face it, if somebody at work is bugging you, or something going on that you don't like, yeah, absolutely share your feeling with them. Go ask them, hey, what's up, Chuck, or what's going on here, or whatever. Just get off your chest. Don't hold it in. And, something very important that I had to learn, especially when I came out here in Washington, D.C., and moved out there from the town I lived in, is not to bring my work home with me. You have to leave work at work, and home at home, right? You don't bring home into work, and you don't bring work into home. And I know it's kind of hard sometimes with teleworking and other stuff, but you got to really find that balance. But if you are having some issues, and if you are having some problems, have that one friend that you can talk to. However you share your feelings, it doesn't necessarily mean you talk to somebody. You could download the EarCake app that I talk about all the time, and share your feelings inside there. Sometimes it's just getting it off your chest. It's just letting it go will make you feel so much better. And I think if you practice that, because it's a practice, it's not easy to do. It wasn't easy for me to do. Still not easy for me to do sometimes. But hey, give it a whirl. What do you got to lose? You don't have nothing to lose. The third one is be creative. And I think this is very important. This goes back to me when I talked about early on when I was talking about learning a new language, is you need to engage different parts of your brain. And so be creative doesn't necessarily mean going out doing artsy stuff like paintings or stuff like that. To me, being creative is looking for something in your environment that you can create to make your mental health better. Maybe it's rearranging furniture. Maybe it's fixing something that's been broke for a while. Maybe it's, rearranging things or organizing things to make it better. And so when you hear somebody says be creative, I think a lot of times we think about art, we think about, that line of things. And I think for me, being creative is doing other stuff, maybe coming up for a solution to fix something. Maybe it's looking at different ways or different things to do it differently. And you can be creative at work. I mean, you can always think about, how to do things differently or better. And so don't always think when somebody says be creative that it means art or along that road. Because sometimes that's the road I go down to when somebody says that. Now here's a big one. Relax. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about this one for a minute, because for me, relaxing is not sitting down doing nothing. To me, that is not relaxing. To me, that's the most stressful thing I can do in my life. I have to constantly be doing something. So for me, relaxing is working out. It's going for a run. It's going for a walk. Maybe it's playing the PS5. Maybe it's doing my podcast. Or my mental health break minutes. So define what relax means to you. And it doesn't mean sitting down doing nothing for some. Relaxing for some people could be cleaning house, could be folding laundry, could be cleaning the car. I get immense joy detailing my little Toyota Yaris I have now out here. That car is probably the cleanest car in Italy, because I'm used to having my Mustang and detailing it. If you saw my mental health break the other day, the Mustang made its appearance. And yes, it's being well cared for. Thanks, Tom, for taking care of my Mustang while I'm in Italy. So just find things that make you relax. And, maybe it is sitting around doing nothing. I don't know. But just find it is. The other thing they talk about, and this one is very, very important, and I didn't realize how important it was until I knew what good sleep was. And I realized that, when I went to the TBI clinic and other things, that I thought I was getting pretty good sleep, and I wasn't. And once you learn to get good sleep, man, that really changes your life. And sometimes you need to drink less alcohol. Sometimes you need to eat less snacks before you go to bed. And sometimes you just need to set up a good environment and able to make you sleep well. Whether it's got to be quiet, whether it's got to be dark in the room, or just whatever it is for you. Whether it's got to be cold in the room. I like the room cool. I like a fan on me. But find out what you need to make your sleep environment better. And if your sleep environment isn't good, your sleep's going to be affected. So just try to find ways to make your sleep environment better, so then you can get better sleep, because mentally and physically it has a huge, profound effect on you. And I used to think, oh, well, I can go with 5 hours sleep, no problem. 5 hours sleep after a while affects you. And I know that now. You know how I know that? Because I started sleeping 7 hours. And then I felt a whole lot different. When I slept that 2 hours longer, and you wouldn't realize that. And then I realized that now it's kind of hard for me to go to bed early sometimes. But to me, going early is midnight. I'm retired, so I don't have to get up early. But I still wake up at 6:30 in the morning, no matter what time I go to bed. But just getting that extra time, that extra couple hours sleep made a big difference. And so instead of sleeping 5 hours, sleeping 7 hours to me is massive. I very rarely do I sleep 8 hours, but I don't know if my body needs 8 hours sleep. Everybody's different. I function pretty well on 6 hours sleep, but I did find a big difference when I was able to kind of get in that 7 hour sleep range. I don't always get there. Some weeks I get there, some weeks I don't. And then, of course, we've all heard about this exercise. I exercise a lot. And my exercises doesn't mean I'm doing always something strenuous. It could just be like the other night. I had a busy night. Everybody come home. I got dinner. Crystal came home very late from work, and I just went outside and walked outside for 30 minutes. I didn't run. I didn't do anything. It was a nice night, and I just wanted to go outside, and I took time for myself, and I just went for a nice 30-minute walk. And so maybe it's something as easy as that. It doesn't mean going to the gym, and it doesn't mean now. Mind you, going to the gym is relaxing to me, and I love lifting weights. But if you ask my wife, Crystal, if going to the gym relaxes her, that would even mention gym to her stresses her out. So that's not relaxing to her. And so just find, ways how you define exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's lifting weights, yoga, Pilates, whatever it is. Just find something and get out and move, because it really will help you a lot. And it's the next one's kind of important, and it's one that it's you always have friends at work, right? And then the next bubble is talk to friends. But sometimes at work, even maybe they're your work friends and not your friends. It's kind of hard to have conversations with people at work if you're still working, because you work with these people and you don't know if you tell them something, if it could adversely affect you. Down the line. I mean, like, you think about it. If you're an airline pilot, or if you're a policeman, or maybe a school teacher, or one of those professions, that if you were having issues and you mentioned to somebody, and somebody mentioned it to somebody, that then mentioned it to somebody, and next thing you know, you're not at work anymore. And so that can be kind of tough too. But I think with inside your bubble who you can trust and who you can't trust. And that goes back to talking with your friends and sharing your feelings, and not really sharing your feelings as, oh, boo hoo hoo, boo hoo this or whatever. It's just the ability to get something off your chest while it's still small, a molehill, before it becomes a mountain like Mount Everest or Mount Vesuvius that I'm going to go see. Those things are important to, have those close friends and somebody that you can talk to. It doesn't necessarily have to be a work friend, because I think sometimes, even with work friends, people get guarded, about it, and don't really open up about a lot of stuff to you. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. As you go through your life and as you improve in your mental health, you're going to lose some friends. It's just going to happen, because maybe they're not going through recovery. Maybe they're not on the same level as you. Maybe they're jealous of the improvements that you're making. And so you have to be ready to let those friends go, because they're just going to keep holding you back. And it's not easy. I've lost friends in my road to recovery. I lost quite a few, actually. A lot of it was because they had their own addiction problems, or somebody in their life had an addiction problem and they didn't want to face it. And so, they don't, instead of facing it or helping them get help, they just stop being your friend. And that's okay. That's their choice. Nothing you can do about that, and just move on. The next one is so very important, and it's something that I struggle with on day-to-day basis, is how to manage your stress. Now, I like the fact that this one I'm going to talk about last, because if you do all the other ones I talk about, it should help you manage your stress. It should help you manage your mental health. And let's face it, if you manage your mental health well, then your stress level should be lower. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to manage your stress. You can do deep breathing exercises. You can download the Ear Kick app. You can, like I talked earlier, you can go exercise. You can do mindfulness exercise like yoga and things like that. You can meditate. You can walk out in your backyard and punch a tree in your backyard. I don't know, however you define and manage stress. Sometimes you get so stressed out, I'll just go outside and scream at the top of my lungs, just to get it out, to get that energy out. to get that negativity out. Get that anxiety level back down. Quit thinking about it. What if you keep thinking about stuff over and over and over and over again? It's not going to do you any good. It's not going to change it. And so you have to get to a point where you don't think about it anymore. And it's funny, I talk about EarKick, but they had a great video on EarKick about dealing with anxiety and stress. And one of the things they talked about was, if your anxiety is super high, just think about you being in a tunnel. But inside that tunnel, there's train tracks. And all those train tracks are very busy. Lots of things going back and forth. But you're the conductor. You can stop things. You can have things move on. You control those trains going in and out of that tunnel. And sometimes with the anxiety and those kinds of thoughts that bring on anxiety, just let it go by. Why stop and dwell on it? Just let it go. Do you really need to think that? Do you really need to be that stressed out? If somebody at work pisses you off and upsets you and blah, 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 and you come home and you're still pissed off and upset over that, that's okay. But at some point, you got to let that go, right? Don't allow that person to affect your home life, because that's going to affect a whole bunch of other stuff. That's your zen place. That's your happy place. Don't bring things in that's going to mess that up. You want to try to keep that happy and keep that going. And so find ways that work best for you to manage stress, because it's just like everything else I talked about tonight. Everybody's different. Everybody's body reacts to stress differently. They react to anxiety differently. They react to eating good food differently. They react to exercise differently. All those things, everybody is a little bit different. We can be similar, but we're all different. Everybody's made different. And so you just got to kind of fit the pieces together that, in the end run, that will help you. And I think that's the tricky part, right? It's finding that balance in life, because that's how you're going to improve your mental health, and holding on to that balance and keeping that balance. Some days I can go to the gym and have a great workout. This week I've been working out, but I haven't had really great workouts because, if you watch my mental health breaks, I've been stopped up and my allergies are kicking up. But I'm not taking allergy medicine. I'm trying to deal with my allergies in a natural way, because that's what I want to do, with natural local honey, neti pot, and things like that. Is I'm trying to go back to the always doing thing. That was my choice and something I did. And if you guys listen to my podcast, I've been doing that for a year, and it's done wonders for me. And so I've been happy about that. But I'm in a new environment. There's new things blooming here. Of course, my allergies are going to be cattywampus for a while. But I want to do things naturally that's going to help my body get used to it, and so I can better adapt to my new environment. And then maybe next spring, it won't affect me so much, or this fall, it won't affect me so much. And so which, by the way, helps reduce my stress, right? And so stress doesn't always have to be work-related. It doesn't always have to be family-related. Sickness can bring on stress. All kinds of things can bring on stress, and there's all kinds of different ways to deal with it. And so, as you move on through your week, at the weekend coming up, tomorrow's Friday, think about maybe some of the things I talked about, and see if there's something in there that maybe you could do different, or add to your schedule, or change your schedule, your routine. Maybe go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Doesn't have to be a big change, right? Remember the old doctor that told me, well, instead of drinking 4 drinks, why don't you drink 3 drinks? Oh, okay. Well, I can do that. Maybe not tonight, because this cordial is some really good stuff. No, I'm just joking. Always drink responsibly out there, and don't drink stupid. But it's always good to do everything in moderation. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on another tangent. But hey, please take a chance to think about all the things I talk about. See what you can do to make small changes in your life that'll help improve your mental health. But along with that, as you're going out and talking to your friends, and maybe they're expressing feelings to you, also, just be sure to follow up on them with your friends. Like I say all the time, we are our brothers and sisters keepers, and it's very important that we take the time, not only for ourselves, but also for others around us, to kind of help us and make our inner circle strong, right? Because You got to have that strong inner circle because that's always going to help with things down the road. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I know it's not Wednesday. We did this on Thursday, but sometimes life happens and you just have to do that. But please take care of yourself. Remember that you can watch my podcast replay on Weeds Across America Radio. It's Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find, just like I talked about. Just go out, download your favorite app, whether it's iHeartRadio app, TuneIn app, or Odyssey app. Search for Wreath Across America Radio. There's a hat. And you listen to my great programming. They have lots of great programs out there. They run them all day long. They play fantastic music. We got the 10th Mountain Whiskey up there. I've been talking about them all program. I'm drinking their cordial right now. It is damn good. Along with their bourbon. Their bourbon that's aged in sherry bottles. Oh my! And I'm a Scotch drinker. But oh my God, yes. If you know somebody out there's got a birthday coming up, be sure and order that for them. It is springtime. You got 4 Patriots out there. Go out there and order your generator. They got all that survival food out there that lasts up to 25 years. It's always very important to be prepared. You have the QR code up there for Wreaths Across America to donate for the wreaths, to ensure that those wreaths are on the tombstones during the holiday season. Such an important program, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. And one more. Most important, still available. My Mental Health Warrior book. You can order it on my website at cliffordballman.com. I'll sign it and get it sent off to you right from Italy. And maybe, I might throw in a little bit of limoncello in that box. No, I'm just joking. I can't do that. But hey, be sure and order your book, The Mental Health Warrior. It's got a lot of great tips out there. It talks about things in my life that's going on. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
This is a food warning. The UN warns of an unprecedented global hunger crisis. In fact, it's predicted by 2030 that 800 million folks will struggle to feed their families, which means 2 dangerous things for you. Number 1, higher prices at the grocery store. Number 2, less food available. And when panic strikes, it will be chaos, making it even harder to get the food your family needs to survive. That's why it's vital, more than ever, to have a survival food stockpile. Introducing the deluxe 3-month survival food kit from 4 Patriots. It has 688 servings of meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with delicious recipes like pancakes, mac and cheese, Aztec chili, and potato soup. They've even got spaghetti and lasagna. This isn't your typical survival food, and over 200,000 smart Americans agree. This is survival food that actually tastes good. But best of all, it's designed to last up to 25 years. You can stash it away and be confident that when a disaster strikes, you and your family will be ready. Go to 4patriots.com/VTT to get the deluxe 3-month survival food kit and the peace of mind you deserve.